hardest. He takes his brush across your face, adds a touch of beige that always fades to gray. It's a constant reminder of the price we have to pay for love. And the artist, he says, hey, got a little color to the picture, no room for a permanent fixture, 'cause everybody's changing, the world just keeps on changing. Not a lot of time left to borrow, before we go turn into tomorrow. We're all participating in constant rearranging till the artist is good night. You're here, just wondering which way I'll have to steer through the mind of the artist. He takes his brush across his brain, yeah, he tries to cover up all the things that cause him pain. It paints a million perfect people in a world that's played with shame for love. Ooh, and the artist, he says, hey, add a little color to the picture, no room for a permanent fixture, 'cause everybody's changing, the world just keeps on changing. Not a lot of time left to borrow, before we go turn it into tomorrow. All participating in constant rearranging till the artist says good night. No matter what I do, I just can't keep them apart. What was once a perfect pictures, now a perfect work of art. I'm consumed by all this sadness, but there's laughter in the air. When I look in the mirror, I wanna know who's standing there. Add a little color to the picture, no room for a permanent fixture, 'cause everybody's changing, the world just keeps on changing, 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 just spinning into oblivion.
You're listening to the Jams and Coffee Morning Show with your host, Brad Brock.
Oh yeah, good morning, Jammers. Happy Wednesday to you. Welcome to the Jams and Coffee Morning Show. You're on YouTube, Facebook, or JNC Radio. broadcasting live on the LIVE365 Radio App. I am Brad Brock, and I'm here to hang with you this chilly morning here on the Treasure Coast. This is another bout of fake fall that we're getting this morning here. It's always good when you wake up and it's like 63 degrees outside and a little breezy and overcast. It really, truly looks like a fall day here in Florida, so we're kind of getting a little taste. Don't worry, I'm sure by the end of the week we'll be back to summer too, and fake fall will be over once again. But we're going to soak it up and enjoy it while it's here. Thank you for joining me over on YouTube, Facebook, or JNC Radio. And if you feel so inclined, you can join us in the chats and comments. I'm trying to keep an eye on all of them as best as I can throughout the show. Adjust my monitor here. Or if you got something to get off your chest, you can give me a shout on the JNC hotline at 772-888-1596. Let's follow the prompts. It'll get you on the air with me. As mentioned, the weather, mostly cloudy out this morning. The temperatures are in the low to mid 60s here on the Treasure Coast. Moving into the afternoon, the highs in the low to mid 70s. Less humidity and only a slim chance for an isolated shower. The clouds will be clearing this evening. And tomorrow we're going to have the morning lows in the upper 50s to low 60s and afternoon highs in the mid to upper 70s with spotty coastal showers possible. So going to be a little cooler than it has been. I feel like just a few weeks ago we were talking about heat indexes in the triple digits. Oh, nice cool off here. I'll take it. As usual, we got some national days to talk about. Perfect for a day like this where it's a little chilly and you need something warm and delicious to warm you up. It's National Seafood Bisque Day. Every year on October 19th. National Seafood Bisque Day serves up a hot, delicious meal for seafood lovers. This day celebrates a luxurious bowl of tasty soup made from the catch of the day. In case you don't know, seafood bisque is a smooth, creamy, and highly seasoned soup of French origin. Recipes call for a strained broth of crustaceans. Use seafood such as lobster, crab, shrimp, or crayfish. The name bisque is likely derived from Biscay, as in the Bay of Biscay. However, the crustaceans are certainly biscuits, meaning cooked twice. Recipes require cooks to first saute the seafood lightly in their shells, then simmered in wine or cognac and aromatic herbs before being strained. This rich and filling soup goes well with a crusty chunk of bread. Serve it as the introduction to a larger meal or the meal itself. If you enjoy wine, try Gewürz, a minor, with your bisque. That's real fancy. Pinkies up. National Seafood Bisque Day. That'll warm you up on a day like this. Speaking of fish, it's National Hagfish Day. What is a hagfish? Well, let's talk about it. Because it brings awareness to the evolved but slimy hagfish. They're considered to be the ugliest of species. The idea behind this observance is to encourage everyone to look beyond the exterior of the hagfish and appreciate how highly evolved they are. Not unlike a book cover, the day points out the benefits of looking deeper into the subject. The hagfish offers many benefits to the ecosystem. Despite its unappealing exterior, it scavenges the ocean floor, cleans up debris of dead marine animals. The slime they produce protects them from predators. While it's thinner than a human hair, the slime is stronger than nylon. How about that? Researchers are seeking the potential commercial, medical, and environmental uses of the slime. The military also sees potential. For example, Navy researchers developed a synthetic hagfish slime using E. coli bacteria. That sounds like a totally safe thing to do. U.S. biochemist Dr. Josh Caggett and materials engineer Dr. Ryan Kinzer Hope the strong synthetic slime can provide added protection for naval vessels. In some cultures, this eel is even considered a delicacy. Though the meat is mild, it can have a bitter aftertaste. It's terrifying, by the way. I don't know if I could throw up an image real quick. Let's see. Will it pop up there? There it is. There's the hagfish right there. That looks like something out of a Stephen King book or film. Absolutely terrifying. Gross. But enjoy it the way that you choose, I suppose. It's Support Your Local Chamber of Commerce Day. I guess it's pretty self-explanatory. It didn't give me any more anything else. It's Bra Day. That's right. Bra, but not in the way that you think about it. Bra is short for Breast Reconstruction Awareness. It's observed the third Wednesday in October. Each breast cancer campaign brings a special focus on an area of concern. However, few shine a light on options after a mastectomy or lumpectomy, like Bra Day USA. While reconstruction may not be for every woman, they should have access to the available options so they can make informed decisions. Deciding whether to reconstruct breasts after a mastectomy is a personal decision. For some, that decision is a difficult one. It's important that patients are provided with all the information and tools to make the best decision for them. Remember, they've lived with their body, their breasts, all their lives. For many women, they've shaped their clothes, they've worn, fed their children, and been part of their more intimate life. Women who choose not to have reconstruction performed also have choices. Prosthetic design and technology continually advance. Each woman should be provided with all their options. Her network should support her in every way through the journey and reassure her that whatever decision she makes is the right one for her. So, Breast Reconstruction Awareness Day. It's also Medical Assistance Recognition Day. Observed on Wednesday of the third business week in October. One of the fastest growing careers in the nation. Medical assistants make medical offices run more smoothly and are instrumental in overall quality patient care. So if you go to the doctor today, be sure to give them a little fist bump or a high five when you're in the office. It's National LGBT Center Awareness Day. October 19th, the National LGBT Center Awareness Day celebrates the services provided by centers across the nation. LGBT community centers provide services to everyone from youth to seniors. They provide an environment of advocacy, empowerment, and support. Although their services, the LGBT community find cultural events, wellness programs, career service, through their services, the LGBT community find cultural events, wellness programs, career services, and more. In times of crisis, community centers often provide the first line of contact. However, they serve as a network connecting people in the LGBT community together. So, awareness for those centers today. And I believe, how could I forget this one? Not necessarily a national day, but an international day, celebrated worldwide. October 19th, International Gin and Tonic Day. Recognizes the world's most famous drinks, enjoyed the world over. This simple cocktail takes only moments to create. The gin and tonic is an uncomplicated cocktail. It's especially popular in Great Britain. The drink was founded in India when the British East India Company reigned the country. The Scottish doctor, George Cleghorn, such a Scottish name, used quinine to treat malaria in India. And quinine is a flavor component of tonic water. It has a bitter taste. Eventually, sugar, lime, and gin were added to the quinine to make it taste better. And, the rest is history. I do enjoy a good gin and tonic. From time to time. That's your national days there today. Just looking at the comments here. Philip in with the Jams and Cocktails, or Jams and Coffee, rather, irrelevant weather report. For Tennessee, he said it's 30s, in the 30s this morning with frost on all the pumpkins. Temperatures are rising up to the mid-70s today. Wow, what a big stretch weather you guys are having there. He said clear and sunny with no rain in the near future. Nice. Philip, did he bring out, I was wondering where the name hagfish had come from, or was recognizable to me. Bye, Jordan. I guess hagfish does have an IPA. I didn't realize that a hagfish was like an eel. So just now, that's how ignorant I can be from time to time. I'm not a fisherman. What can I say? All right. On some stories to get through in the morning. Tuning in over on Facebook. Chris tuning in there. Good morning, Chris. And Mike says, good morning from the toilet. Good morning to you as well, Mike. I always say, I feel like 90% of our audience is sitting on a toilet. And I'm okay with that. I in no way am I upset about that at all. I'm just glad that you're tuning in. It's a great place to kick back and enjoy a show. I believe even like if you're on Facebook watching that it generates automatic subtitles. So if you don't want to interrupt your friends next door, you should be able to just see the subtitles right there. I don't even know how you turn them on. Anyway, not important. Thank you guys for tuning in. I appreciate it. Let's get into the stories here. I got some local news here for you bonfire nuts there on the Treasure Coast. Martin County is allowing bonfires on public beaches, of course, with permits. Yeah, they're gonna want to get a little money out of you, but they are allowing it for a certain amount of time. Here's the story. Tammy Hall. She was just scrolling through Instagram last year when she came across a post about beach bonfires in Martin County. She said it was just intriguing to have a bonfire on the beach. It's the only place to do that. 38-year-old Jensen Beach resident called the county to ask about available dates and booked New Year's Eve at an existing fire ring in Stewart Beach, one of the few spots where beach bonfires are legal on the Treasure Coast. She invited friends to join and had a small group of 8 people. They brought their own firewood as well as drinks, snacks, chairs, blankets, and pillows. They also had fireworks and sparklers and were allowed to stay until 1 a.m. because of the holiday. Beach bonfires in Martin County, which costs $50 plus tax, which is outrageous. I mean, I feel like, isn't the $50 the tax? I digress. For a permit, you're paying the county. I mean, anyway, who gets that tax money? They're allowed from 5 to 11 p.m. daily, only from November, though, to February. At 6 designated beach fire permit locations, 3 at Stewart Beach and 3 at Jensen Beach. St. Lucie and Indian River counties don't allow beach bonfires at any time of the year, according to county officials. The only permitted beach bonfires in Vero Beach happen at the annual Beachside Bonfire Fest, which is a special event approved by both the city and the Indian River County Fire Rescue Prevention Bureau. So, you gotta love that. They can do it, but you can't. Sorry, Vero Beach. You have to come down to Stewart to enjoy it on your own. Well, there you go, you fire freaks. You can get a permit, have a fire on the beach. Starting next month, of course. I think I read somewhere that they're doing, it has to do with sea turtles nesting there at some point. And you obviously don't want people setting fire to the sand while the beach is loaded with sea turtle eggs. So, totally get that. Understandable. Understandable. We were just talking about this yesterday, and I found the story, Philip. As we were talking about the Mississippi River and how the level is plunged. So here's the story on that. So the U.S. Army Corps of Engineers has launched construction on a 1,500-foot wide underwater levee in the Mississippi River to prevent salt water from pushing up the river amid record low river levels and flow rates. While drought in the U.S. becomes more frequent and intense, sea level is rising along the coasts. These two impacts of the climate crisis are literally clashing against one another in Louisiana. At the mouth of the Mississippi River, where low flow is allowing salt water from the Gulf of Mexico to push up the river, threatening the drinking water supply. The Corps announced last week that it would dredge sediment from the bottom of the river and pile it up near Myrtle Grove, Louisiana, to create what's known as a sill, which will act as a dam for the denser salt water in the lower levels of the river. Ricky Boyette, Army Corps Chief of Public Affairs for the New Orleans District, said the toe of the saltwater wedge is already approaching the location of the planned sill. The sill will be roughly 40 to 50 feet high underwater, at a location where the water is around 90 feet deep. It'll take another week until the sill can be built high enough to block the saltwater intrusion, he said, and it's designed to be temporary. Boyette explained that the river's low flow is the main problem right now. He said when it falls below 300,000 cubic feet per second, it doesn't have enough force to keep the saltwater at bay. The flow rate just north of the planned sill has been running around or below 200,000 cubic feet per second for more than a week now. And that's from data from the U.S. Geological Survey. The Army Corps has issued this strategy before. Saltwater in the Gulf of Mexico, which is much denser than the freshwater flowing in the Mississippi, usually pushes up the river every 10 years or so. The last time a sill was built at the mouth of the river was in 2012, and then 1999, and then 1988 before that. So at least this is something that they're familiar with. Boyette said the problem typically resolves itself once there's enough rainfall upstream to ease the drought. He noted that what's unfolding right now is similar to the low flow seen back in 2012. The difference is that shortly after we built the sill then, Hurricane Isaac came in and dropped 20 inches of rain in different places, and so it kind of changed the flow rather quickly on us. In this case, we're looking at an area where it's really not enough rain in the current forecast to change it. Worsening drought in the U.S., the central U.S., has had a significant impact on the Mississippi River in recent weeks. Dozens of gauges in the river basin are at or below their low water threshold. The river gauge at Memphis dropped to a new record low on Monday. And that's minus 10.75 feet, surpassing the previous low record set in 1988. Forecast from the Climate Prediction Center is dry. Philip, you understand. With below average rainfall in the outlook, though at least through the rest of the week, as the water level in the Mississippi River drops, saltwater intrusion is already impacting a water treatment plant in Boothville in Louisiana's Plaquemines Parish. It is projected to reach another one in Point Alahasha. Both of these locations are downriver from the planned sill. Boyette explained that the sill is going to be built north of Boothville and Point Alahasha because the Army Corps is focused on preventing saltwater from reaching Belle Chasse and cities further north, including New Orleans. Saltwater intrusion does not normally occur. When you're looking at areas below Belle Chasse and smaller water intakes that the Plaquemines is using, the parish kind of has the responsibility for mitigating for that salt water because it's a natural phenomenon. For residents relying on drinking water from the Boothville facility, high levels of saltwater-related substances such as sodium and chloride have been detected, and a drinking water advisory is in effect. Plaquemines Parish officials told CNN that they have secured a reverse osmosis machine to treat the water and remove salt and other contaminants. Well, that's good. Glad that they did that. While the Corps expects the sill to successfully prevent salt water from reaching New Orleans, William Sweet, oceanographer and sea level rise expert, the National Oceanic and Atmospheric Administration, said it's going to be an increasingly challenging strategy moving forward. The Mississippi River Delta is facing climate and environmental pressures on multiple fronts, including sea level rise, land subsidence, deepening of the channel to allow more vessels, and frequent flooding. Without a permanent fix, temporary halting saltwater intrusion by creating sills will only cost more in the future. That's according to Sweet, of course. The Army Corps declined to disclose to CNN the cost of the current project, which means it's probably a lot. But Sweet told CNN that we now have levees on land to protect against flooding. We have levees underwater to protect drinking water. This is a heavily fortified area with a lot of engineering. While we understand it needs to be done, is it sustainable? He said, I suspect as long as the will and desire continue to provide flood safety and drinking water availability, we'll move forward as a country to provide this. But it's going to be increasingly challenging due to the pressures of climate change and sea level rise. But for now, Boyette said the Corps is banking on precipitation to eventually replenish the Mississippi River. He said it's really going to depend on rain in the Mississippi Valley. We need the water to come our way from up north. And right now we're not seeing anything in the forecast, but hopefully that changes soon. So there you go. That's how they're getting that sorted out, Philip. The Mississippi River. It is interesting. That's quite an undertaking. I mean, we give the Army Corps of Engineers a hard time here in Florida because they've not been able to really figure out how to work around the discharges from Lake Okeechobee. And, environmentalists have been saying, and other scientists have been saying all along, just restore the natural flow of water in the state and it'll fix itself. And they're finally coming around to that. They're finally looking into that. But, dumping all that trash water into the estuary is just, works good on paper, but, is pretty murderous to the aquatic life, those estuaries. But what are you going to do? Oh, they're coming around. So, but this looks like a good plan and clearly one that works because they've done it in the past. So hopefully the Mississippi area, not necessarily a hurricane, that sounds terrible, but hopefully I'll get some water in that area soon. All right. Where are we at? We're gonna take a quick music break. When we come back, I have some breaking news. Make sure the kids are out of the room, but they have found the exact burial spot of St. Nicholas. Of course, the inspiration for Santa. And I have the whole story for you. So we're going to talk about that when we come back from the break. Thank you for listening to Jams and Coffee in the Morning. Here's one from Vern Dazel. This is Feed Me. Stick around. We'll be right back.
You're riding on a high called E. lost in a world of make-believe, drowning on your own, but still you ask for more, blindly on your throne, feasting on the empty praise, but still you say, feed me. Drowning on your own, but still you ask for more, blindly on your throne, feasting on the empty praise, drowning on your own, but still you ask for more, blindly on your throne, feasting on the empty praise, but still you say, feed me.
You're listening to the Jams and Coffee Morning Show.
Yes, with your host, Brad Brock. Yeah, that was Vern Dazel with Feed Me. Welcome back to the show here. Jams and Coffee in the morning. Yeah, so breaking news. The exact burial spot of St. Nicholas, of course, the character, or not a character, obviously something much more important, but the inspiration for Santa Claus has been found in a Turkish church. Random, right? Here, I'm just trying to adjust my microphone levels here. Something's a little wonky. That's okay. We'll get it sorted out. Anyway, archaeologists in southern Turkey have just uncovered the original burial place of Father Christmas himself, formerly known as St. Nicholas, but whose modern nicknames, of course, of Santa Claus, St. Nick, Kris Kringle, are known by children the world over. While researchers already knew that the saint's body was buried in the 4th century A.D., in the 4th century A.D. church in Turkey's Antalya province, there you go, the holy man's remains were stolen around 700 years after he died. So the specific spot where he was originally interred was a mystery. Now, clues gathered during a new excavation of this church, including the ecclesiastical building's similarity to the Church of the Holy Sepulchre in Jerusalem. I botched that. I know it. I'm so sorry. And the placement of a fresco depicting Jesus hint at exactly where St. Nick's body was likely laid to rest. Located on Turkey's southern coast, the modern town of Demre boasts the Church of St. Nicholas, likely place to start, built in A.D. 520, on top of an older church where the Christian saint served as bishop in the 4th century A.D., and known as Myra. The small town was a popular Christian pilgrimage spot following St. Nicholas's death and burial there in 343 A.D. Very little is known about Nicholas's life, but legends abound. He's said to have rescued 3 girls from prostitution, to have chopped down a demon-possessed tree, to have resurrected 3 murdered children who were pickled in brine, and to have gotten into a fistfight during the first council of Nicaea in 325 A.D. That's according to Britannica. And, of course, Nicholas was said to have frequently given away his inherited wealth anonymously to the poor, eventually leading to the legend of Saint Nick as Santa Claus. Unfortunately, in 1087 A.D., some wise and illustrious men of Bari discussed together how they might take away from the city of Myra the body of the most beloved confessor of Christ, Nicholas. Yes, according to a contemporaneous manuscript translated from Latin by a late medievalist, Charles W. Jones, the plan was to break open the floor of the church and carry away the holy corpse. The group succeeded, carting off most of the skeletal remains of St. Nicholas and leaving just a few bones and a broken sarcophagus in Myra. In spite of this desecration, the Church of St. Nicholas and Demra itself has survived more than a millennium, with archaeological excavation beginning at the end of the 20th century. Through this work, researchers discovered the foundations of the earliest church covered by many feet of sand and silt. Last week, Osman Eresvar, the chairman of the Antalya Cultural Heritage Preservation Regional Board, announced the discovery of the location of St. Nicholas's tomb at the base of a fresco of Jesus. In an interview with the Turkish news organization DHA, Eresvar noted that the current excavations have revealed the floor on which St. Nicholas's feet stepped from the original church. This is an extremely important discovery, the first find from that period. The DHA's English coverage quoted Eresvar as saying, "The original burial place of St. Nicholas has also been found, according to Eresvar. When the Bari contingent removed the saint's bones in the 11th century, they also shoved some sarcophagi aside, obscuring their original location. Eresvar told DHA that his sarcophagus must have been placed in a special place, and that is the part with 3 apses covered with a dome. There we've discovered a fresco depicting the scene where Jesus is holding a Bible in his left hand and making the sign of blessing with his right hand. A marble floor tile with the Greek words for as grace could mark his exact grave. Supporting that hypothesis is the shape of the church itself. Just as the Church of the Holy Sepulchre has an unfinished dome at the top, and so does the Church of St. Nicholas at Myra. When it was restored by Emperor Alex II of Russia in the 1860s, the dome was never completed. The unfinished dome may have been a purposeful attempt to link St. Nicholas to the story of Jesus' crucifixion and ascension into the sky. William Kerr, an archaeologist at the University of North Dakota with a specialty in early Christian architecture, said it's not unusual for churches to be built atop one another. In fact, the presence of an earlier church on a site has been a reason to build a church since the early Christian and Byzantine times. Kerr thinks the marble floor tile with the Greek letters could be from some other context, reused possibly in antiquity because of the common word charis, which means grace in Greek, and that's etched into it. Kerr noted that St. Nicholas is significant in Orthodox and Catholic traditions, with churches and chapels dedicated to him throughout the Mediterranean. I think many people, from eager kiddos on Christmas Eve to world-weary science reporters and grizzled archaeologists, have at some point in their lives hoped to get a little glimpse of the real St. Nick. So there you have it. His original burial place. Don't tell the kids. The spirit lives on. Just go to any Walmart starting right now, and you'll see images of him on everything. I'll give you a little preview of the Jams and Cocktails podcast tonight. We'll be live at 8 p.m. this evening. We got some great guests and lots of stuff to talk about on coming up tonight. We have award-winning trop rock artist John McDonald in the house. Yeah, I'm actually just trying to find a little sample video he sent. There it is. I'll play that for you in a moment. But he's debuting, or premiering as they call it in the film world, premiering a brand new music video for his song off of his latest album, Islandology, called Code Rum. Go figure. It's one of our favorites. So he'll be here. We're premiering that entire video tonight on the show, featuring some of your favorite pirates that you may know from around town. Captain Mick tuning in from the toilet today, makes an appearance in that film as well. So we're premiering that tonight. We're talking about all the stuff that John's got going on, his various award nominations coming up this year. And, of course, Johnny Ringo will be on the show with us from the Code Rum Company, which is the inspiration for the song. And we'll talk about all the things he's got going on. We've got quite a few events in the works on that side. So it's going to be a great show, a great set of guests. We'll also be talking to author Chip Bell. And an event promoter, Brian Burns, will be calling in to chat with us as well. So lots of stuff going on tonight. Jams and Cocktails podcast, 8 p.m. Eastern. Right wherever you're watching this show right now is where it'll pop up this evening. So just come back and visit us. In the meantime, I'm going to give you a little sample of the Code Rum music video. There's a little clip of what you can expect tonight. Enjoy.
Reason for a party, we'll be bringing like a pirate singing out. Go rum, living life as it comes. Every little thing will be alright. Go rum, take your place in the sun. Get your pirate on, free your spirit tonight.
The video is great, and I hope you join us tonight to premiere the whole thing. And John's even going to be gracious enough to perform a few songs for us this evening as well, live. So it's going to be a nice chilly night. Bundle up, get yourself some Code Rum, and join us tonight on the Jams and Cocktails podcast, 8 p.m. Eastern time, of course, on YouTube, Facebook, and we'll be broadcasting on JNC Radio. Hope that you join us. What else is going on? We got some music news here. Before we get into that, we got some celebrity birthdays today. We love that. Trey Parker, turning 53 years old today. If you don't know Trey Parker, he co-created the hit long-running animated series South Park alongside Matt Stone, which led to the duo winning several Emmy Awards for their brilliantly vulgar humor. He and Matt also provided voices for several of the characters on the series. He directed the 2004 comedy film Team America, World Police, which is heavily quoted even today, at least by people my age. And he co-wrote and co-directed the Tony Award-winning musical The Book of Mormon. Busy guy. Trey Parker turning 53 years old today. Another wildly famous person in the occult classic world is turning 82 years old today, and that's Michael Gambon. And, of course, he gained fame as Albus Dumbledore in the universally popular Harry Potter film franchise by appearing in the... he also appeared in The Singing Detective and Migrate, and he gained acclaim as a television actor that way. He also voiced the character of Uncle Pazuzzo in the 2014 film Paddington. So Michael Gambon turning 82 years old today. Philip said maybe door prizes from Code Rum. I don't know. I'm gonna have to talk to Ringo about all that. He also said Cartman isn't fat; he's big boned, and that's the truth. Let's see here. Turning 56 years old today. American actor and director who rose to stardom with his lead role alongside Vince Vaughn in the 1996 film Swingers. We're talking about Jon Favreau. He also wrote and co-produced that film. His directing credits are substantial. You know, you would never know this by watching him perform. He's a wonderful actor. I really love his delivery, and I'm a Jon Favreau fan. His directing credits include Elf, Iron Man, The Lion King, the live-action Lion King. He also, of course, maybe most famously portrays Happy Hogan in the Marvel Universe. And rounding out our birthdays today, turning 77 years old today, dramatic actor who shifted into comedy. The television show Third Rock from the Sun, we're talking about John Lithgow. Perhaps also known for his roles in films such as Interstellar and Terms of Endearment and a billion other things that he's been a part of. Shrek comes to mind as Lord Farquaad, Harry and the Hendersons, which is probably the very first time I was introduced to John Lithgow as an actor. 77 today. Happy birthday, John. Mr. Lithgow. Oh, yeah, some music news here. So, apparently John Mayer has opened up about his thoughts and intentions for the future. Of course, he wrapped up his Sob Rock tour back in April and recently announced that he'll be hitting the road again for Dead & Company's final tour, but he's already thinking about what's next. The hitmaker took to Instagram and penned an open letter to fans about his thoughts and intentions for the future. His note began, "Hello from the studio," which captioned several photos of him working on new music. He said, "I know it's been a while since I've updated you on what's next, and since many of you have asked when the next big leg of the touring is, I thought I'd share my thoughts and intentions for the future." He continued, "I'd love touring and will continue to play live shows, but in staying open to what's driving me creatively, it felt like making more music was the most inspiring feeling I had. I know the Sob Rock tour was only in the U.S., and though I'll make it to other cities and countries in the future, I've just got more songs to make. I'm not complaining. I love new John Mayer music. I'll deal with it." With Jordan and I actually earlier in the year, we got to see John on the Sob Rock tour, and it was a wonderful concert. It was moving. It was nostalgic. As somebody who has followed his career from the very, very, very beginning. It was wonderful to see his progression and where he's at today. I digress. The Sob Rock tour, of course, was in promotion of his 8th studio album of the same name. He said, "I'm having the time of my life writing and recording, and it won't be long before I share some very exciting news about some new projects." He closed with, "I'm grateful beyond description for all the love and support I've got in you all. And I'm the luckiest person in the world to still be on this big, beautiful ride with you all." He included 3 photos in his announcement, all of which feature him and a pink electric guitar, while one photo is of him posing in the studio, another is of him singing into the microphone, while the final one is of him playing the piano. So there you go. John Mayer, new music from John Mayer coming soon. Whoop, whoop. Some new to us music is coming out. Perhaps not new to Steve Vai. You Steve Vai fans. He's about to release his straight-ahead rock album that he shelved in the 90s. He had recorded it, of course, in the 90s, and then it got shelved. And Steve Vai says that he spent about 2 weeks on the album back in 1991. The record features vocals from Vai's longtime friend John Gash Sombrato and could finally see the light of day next year as the follow-up to Vai's 2022 album, Inviolate. Inviolate? Weird name. That's okay. He said, "The next record I have coming out, and this is a shocker for whoever's interested, but I recorded a record around 1991. I spent about 2 weeks on it, and it's very straight-ahead rock," Vai explained. "It's music that I wrote that I wanted to listen to while riding my Harley Davidson with me and my friends." He added that Sombrato had Never sung, but I heard something in his voice, and I put him in the studio, and you're just not going to believe the way he sings. The album is tentatively called Vi Gash. The former Frank Zappa, David Lee Roth, and Whitesnake guitarist, Vi says the long-forgotten LP represents an alternative life for him musically. Something people might have been looking for if they only knew him from his work in the late 80s. He said, it's the record I think a lot of people were expecting I would make, and were hoping I might make, because it's even more straight ahead than Whitesnake or David Lee Roth. Just rockin', he continued. It's not metal, but it's this pop rock. I really like it, but sat on the shelf for over 30 years, so that's the next thing coming out. So there you go, Steve Vai fans. You can get some rock and roll, some straight ahead rock and roll from Steve Vai. No word on when that's being released, but that is the next thing that's coming. So there you go, Steve Vai. What else is going on? Anything else? That's all the news I had. I do have, because we're clearly talking about celebrities, I got a pretty good top 10 for you tonight, or today, whatever the time it is. It makes no difference to me. Time is all relative to me these days. Let's see. I guess we'll get into that. You know, celebrities are just like us, with caveats. Sometimes they like to have a night in with some popcorn, and sometimes they like to dress up and go out and have a nice dinner with their significant others. Sometimes they are kept awake at night with sleep paralysis, frozen by the whispers of demons and spirits that inhabit their homes and waking nightmares. They're just normal people, guys. While the juicy celeb gossip may be hard to resist, sometimes a good ghost story is even harder. Rest assured, there is no shortage. Pull up the covers, and let's dive right in. Here are 10 of your favorite famous faces that have had their brush with the supernatural in today's JNC Spooky in Top 10. All right. First up here on our list this morning, the former frontwoman of Alabama Shakes, Brittany Howard. She doesn't shy away from her past with hauntings. In an interview with The New Yorker, she casually mentioned the house in which she grew up. She said, "Oh, yeah, that bitch was haunted as hell." Brittany lived in a dilapidated house in Athens, Alabama, close to the railroad tracks. Her great-grandmother passed in the house shortly after Brittany and her mother moved in. And her mother claimed to see her great-grandmother's spirit on the end of her bed frequently. Brittany claimed that in the same New Yorker article that it always felt like somebody was watching her. The cabinets and doors would slam on their own frequently when she was home alone. After a while, the ghost in the house got personal, opening and closing her bedroom door while she would try to sleep. She assumed it was the ghost of her great-grandma, like her mom used to see. But Brittany didn't take any chances. She started sleeping in the living room to be safe. And that lasted all of one night while the spirit started terrorizing Brittany, growling at her in her sleep. As to who the spirit is, it's still not known even to this day. We may never know. Ooh, terrifying. Yeah, the Alabama Shakes. You guys don't know about them? You got to get into them. Oh, man, that's spooky. Number 9 on our list, in a more recent fame or huge pop star, you'd think if Ariana Grande had a date with the devil, we'd all have heard about it by now or heard a song about it by now. Well, the truth is, that's apparently what happened back in 2013 when she visited Stoll Cemetery in Kansas City. The cemetery is supposedly one of the 7 sites where the gates of hell on Earth exist. We talked about this place just a few days ago. And satanic activity is rampant. Should you be so lucky to take a stroll around Stoll. Oh, the writing's great. Grande did just that, knowing the ramifications of her actions. Upon entering the site, she said, "I felt this sick, overwhelming feeling of negativity over the whole car, and we smelled sulfur, which is the sign of a demon. There was a fly in the car randomly. She said for weeks the pop star saw shadow figures and black masses. She heard whispers and growling and felt a very heavy presence while trying to sleep. It was all the elements of summoning a demon. Seeking advice how to rid herself of this entity, she was told to tell it to F off, to which Ariana said she was too scared to try. Take this cautionary tale if you're ever in Kansas City. Don't visit a portal to hell unless you're willing to suffer the consequences. Truth. Number 8 on our list. Another big name you'll recognize. You don't need to have starred in a ghost movie to see a ghost, but it makes this list more fun, doesn't it? Star of Ghost of Girlfriends Past, Matthew McConaughey, actually claims that his Hollywood Hills home was haunted by a spirit named Madame Blue. All right. While at a press junket for the film back in 2009, McConaughey revealed the spirit came to him when he had to stand his ground with the angry spirit wanting to stake her claim in his home. Guests to his home felt her presence, and he finally came to an accord with the spirit of Madame to share the home. Since then, everything's been quiet and serene. He hopes. Number 7 on our list. This Ghostbuster has earned her a keep dealing with the dead. She revealed that during her college experience in Boulder, Colorado, she moved into a house and lived in the attic that was definitely haunted. We're talking about Melissa McCarthy. Her friends wouldn't dare walk through the threshold, maintaining that same creepy feeling you get when there's supposedly a presence around. And the door would inexplicably open and close by itself when McCarthy was alone. 2 weeks later, she moved to New York. McCarthy also revealed in a telling interview with Ellen DeGeneres about when she was in the 2nd grade, her great-grandmother passed away and revealed herself in spectral form the same way she looked weeks prior. Ellen then revealed that she has seen the spirit of a man from the turn of the century in a 3-piece suit that just stared at her. Creepy, creepy stuff, guys. Number 6. Before he was Luke Cage in the Marvel Universe, Mike Coulter grew up in a very haunted state in the very haunted state of South Carolina, where he claims a slew of paranormal goings-ons around occurred. He told Kelly Clarkson on her show back in 2019, when I was a kid, I used to have this thing that was sitting on my chest when I'd sleep, and it was keeping me from getting up, and I couldn't open my eyes. I would struggle, and I couldn't breathe very well. Coulter's mother casually claimed the spirit was a hag, or the unsettled spirit of a woman come to haunt her son night after night. Coulter admitted he and his cousins used to speak ill of the creepy, lonely old woman next door, and he's positive the spirit was hers. Careful talking about the living before they're dead. He claims she could have been a witch all along. Let this be a lesson, as I said, to be kind to your neighbors. Number 5. It turns out that Dan Aykroyd has a fairly involved history busting ghosts. His fascination with the paranormal started in his early childhood. His great-grandfather, Simon Aykroyd, was a pretty renowned spiritualist who held seances. A book titled History of Ghosts, written by Aykroyd's father, Peter, mentions the family history in mediumship. Aykroyd says they passed it, the psychic powers, of course, on to me, and then I took it and turned it into a ludic exploitation with Ghostbusters. So has he seen a ghost? Well, the answer is plenty. One story is particularly chilling. Aykroyd relays how something climbed into his bed one night while he was home alone. He recalled that the door was closed, so he would have heard the door open and anyone entered the room. After feeling a chill on the mattress next to him, being depressed slightly, he decided to go with it, as he had been working all day and was too tired to deal with anything. He just snuggled up next to it, quote unquote, and went to sleep. He awoke in the morning noting he actually had a good night's sleep. Maybe it was a friendly ghost, just looking for a place to lay their weary head. Thanks for sticking with me, folks. Number 4 on our list. This one is this one's a double-decker here. So it's not too often that ghosts doing the haunting are more famous than the living. That's allegedly the case with Megan Mullally and Nick Offerman, who have claimed to be haunted by the ghost of Nicole Brown Simpson in their Hollywood home. Mullally told Busy Phillips on her talk show, Busy Tonight, that they lived in a home on the same property of a house that once stood where O.J. Simpson had rented a home for Nicole Brown Simpson. Mullally said in one corner of the house, like maybe where the bedroom used to be in the old house, we would have all these sounds and weird things all the time. I'd be like, that's Nicole, and she's pissed because Nick doesn't get it. Mullally claimed all the paranormal activity came to a screeching halt after Offerman watched Simpson ESPN documentaries and Ryan Murphy's American Crime Story series covering Brown Simpson's murder. She claimed the spirit of Nicole just needed to be heard and understood. Oh, interesting stuff. Just wanted him to take some action. Number 3 on our list today, Jenny Slate has made the story of her family's home and its paranormal hauntings one of her talking points in her book, a recent Netflix stand-up special, and pretty much anywhere anyone will listen. She did this as a cautionary tale on how to address death to children and how the paranormal can shape identity. She grew up in Milton, Massachusetts. The home her parents moved into still had all the furniture of the previous owners who had died, sitting idle in each room, and it creeped her out even then. She claims that her father saw the ghost of a sea captain staring at him from the bottom of the stairs almost immediately upon moving in. Every member of the family has seen spirits in that home except for Jenny, but she claims her current home is also haunted. She spoke on the hauntings in her stand-up special, and in an interview for Refinery 29, she said, Ben and I live in a very old house, and it was made for his great-grandmother as an old dance hall. A lot of people who sleep over, guests that we've had, say that they have wild dreams and hear things in the house. Spooky, 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 spooky. Number 2 on our list. Sometimes the ghosts we encounter reveal the trauma of our past. For Real Housewives of Atlanta's Nene Leakes, this seems to be the case. Leakes recently opened up about her ghost story on A&E's Celebrity Ghost Story to reveal a terrifying and traumatic experience with the paranormal. Leakes was at a wedding and kept hearing the voices of children. And every time she would turn to look, there would be no children around. Leakes sought the help of psychic Kim Russo, who delivered messages from Leakes' mother revealing an emotional past where she revealed having missed out on formidable moments in her own childhood. The conclusion being that perhaps these ghost children following the Real Housewives star could be manifestations of that residual energy she's left behind. It brings to light what ghosts really are to us and how we carry them with us in our lives. Deep. And finally, number 1 here on our JNC Spooky Top 10 today. While Ice-T is usually a character as the tough, no-nonsense cop on Law & Order SVU, his mettle was tested when filming an episode in an old factory in New Jersey. He recalled some disturbing stories from when they filmed at the site of the abandoned factory. He never wanted to film at the location again, so, much to his surprise, he returned with the specific intention of investigating the property. While he claims to be a skeptic, he admits his wife Coco is a believer. Deciding to revisit the location with psychic Kim Russo, Ice-T and Coco participated in an episode of Celebrity Ghost Stories. While touring the factory, lights flicker on, causing Ice-T to want to leave immediately. After he's convinced to continue, the trio visit the basement, encountering more unexplained feelings and sounds. It seems the experience still wasn't enough to make him a true believer, no matter what his wife felt. And there you have it. That is the JNC Top 10. Spooky Top 10. All right, folks. I've got just a few shameless plugs for you here before I get you on your way for Wednesday. I know, time is short, but fear not, because we'll have some more time together later tonight. It's a date. As mentioned, of course, come and join us, Jams and Cocktails podcast tonight, 8 p.m. Let's do this all over again with more nutcases here in the studio to to chat with and engage. Of course, the comments are open, and I don't know if we're going to have the phone line open because we have to keep it open for some of our guest callers. But we'll be watching the chats and comments. Please check out our friends at Code Rum, Hop Life Brewing, the Sneaky Tiki in downtown Stewart, and of course, the Drums and Rums podcast, our good friend Paul Robertson. Check out all those things and support the people who support us. Support local whenever you can. Speaking of the Drums and Rums podcast, they have a new podcast that just dropped yesterday. Check that out. It's gift ideas for drummers. So check out Paul's brand new podcast episode that just dropped yesterday. And, of course, check out Paul's live streams on Thursdays, 8 p.m. Eastern. The biggest happy hour and a half hour. You got to get there early because it's only a half hour long. Sometimes a little longer, but he tries to keep it in a half hour. It's a good time. If you're watching this show right now, thank you so much. Hope that you enjoy our morning get-togethers. A little news and stories and some coffee. Get your morning started right. Each weekday morning, usually. I think I have enough now to perhaps put together a best of. I know next week, I think I'll be off on Friday because we'll be heading down to the Keys for Fantasy Fest. So Friday maybe hit or miss. Maybe Jordan and I will do a live stream driving. I don't know. We haven't discussed it or figured it out yet. But I'll let you know. I'll let you know one way or another whether we do a best of or we do something on the way down. But more often than not, every weekday at 8 a.m. Eastern Time, you can check out Jams and Coffee here in the morning. You can also listen to it on JNC Radio. You can listen to that via our website, jncpodcast.com. You can find our radio station there, plus all our social media. You can watch this. It's really the epicenter of all the things that we do. So jncpodcast.com will get you there. You can also listen to JNC Radio via the LIVE365 Radio App, completely free from your favorite app store. Nothing to sign up for. You put it on your phone, search for JNC Radio, add us to your favorites, and enjoy us. I appreciate that. And that's the shameless plugs. So, with that being said, I hope that you guys enjoy the rest of your day. We'll see you later tonight for Jams and Cocktails. Don't miss it. It's going to be a good one. If you're on the Treasure Coast, remember to bring your coat. You're going to need it today. Broadcasting live from the legendary JNC Lounge, I'm Brad Brock. I'll see you tonight. Bye.
Tune in again tomorrow morning for the latest local buzz, national headlines, music news, and more on JNC in the Morning, right here on Facebook and YouTube.